Jesse Granger joins us from the Athletic Las Vegas to talk about the Golden Knights. They got their preseason going last night, a 5-2 loss at San Jose, just following Jesse's feed on that. How you doing, Jesse? Welcome back. Are they ready for a new season in Vegas?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. We are ready. It was a short summer after a long run to the Stanley Cup Finals, obviously. It feels like they were on the ice yesterday, but yeah, we're ready for camp. It should be a fun preseason. There aren't a lot of position battles here in Vegas, as they bring mostly the same team back, but a lot of things that we want to look at for some younger players that haven't gotten a chance to get on the ice.
Well, I think that would be the burning question for me to you is how much different will this team look than last? Because as we know, Kelly McCrimmon since day one churning to get the right mix, and then he got it. And I don't get the sense he's going to make a lot of changes to this roster from last year's.
No, they're going to look very similar to last year's roster. Only one skater that was, if you look at the lineup that won the Stanley Cup Game 5 against Florida, there's only going to be one player that from that squad that doesn't return for next year, and that's Riley Smith, who they traded to Pittsburgh in the offseason. And that's a big piece. He's the second all-time leading scorer for this franchise. He is a huge part of the power play, the penalty kill. He plays big 5-on-5 minutes. He was one of their best defensive forwards that they really counted on for those defensive zone starts. So those are big shoes to fill. But that's really, for Vegas, luckily, that's really the only spot they're looking to fill right now. Outside of that, you expect pretty much the exact same lineup with every last year. There are a handful of guys battling for open spot, though, so there's a lot to watch here in camp.
Well, I guess that would be my next question is who will be new? And before you answer that, I saw on your Twitter that you're a goalie guy. I'm a goalie guy. What was your favorite highlight of the Jonathan Quick era in Vegas? That was a dog's breakfast in their crease that ended up working okay. But what's the crease situation here right now?
Yeah, they're bringing Adin Hill and Logan Thompson are going to be the two goalies, and I expect them to split it pretty much 50-50. Whoever's playing better at the time is going to get the net a little more, but maybe Adin Hill gets a slight edge. He's obviously making a lot more money after that big raise in the offseason, but I would expect pretty much an even split between Adin Hill and Logan Thompson in net. Yuri Patera is now their third goalie. They obviously lost Jonathan Quick to free agency, and Laurent Brossoit, who was a big part of this team last year, he left in free agency and went back to Winnipeg. So a little bit of change in net, but they're still going to have their two main guys. In terms of who's battling for Riley Smith's spot and some young guys that are coming up, it's going to be exciting to see who ends up there. Paul Cotter is probably the favorite, and he had a good rookie season for the Golden Knights last year. He scored 13 goals in 55 games, so he's proven himself a little bit. He's got to tighten up some of the details. You know how coaches are with young players. They want you responsible in all three zones. So he's still got a little bit of work to do that side of things. But I think Paul Cotter's probably the favorite to win that job on the wing of William Karlsson, where Riley Smith used to play. But you also have Pavel Dorofeyev, who had not as much ice time as Paul Cotter did at his rookie season, but he still played really well. And then the most exciting one is Brendan Brisson, who's a first-round pick for this team in 2020, and he played his first year of pro hockey last year in the AHL. He's a sniper. He's got a great wrist shot. He's really good on the power play in that right circle where Riley Smith played. The defensive side of his game has a long ways to go, and he's got to prove to coaches that he's improved there. I think he probably starts the season in the AHL just because he's waiver exempt. That's the easy decision to make. But if he has a really big camp, he could force their hand. So I think it's really between those three. And then you have Max Comtois, who's here on a PTO for Anaheim, coming from Anaheim after they didn't pick him up as an RFA. They decided not to qualify him. So Max Comtois is a big power forward that likes to go to the net. Vegas loves those types of forwards. So it's going to be interesting to see which of those four grabs this spot, but it's a good, healthy competition.
I'm wondering what the attitude of the franchise is. And I ask because I was with the Panthers this weekend at their training camp. And let's just say they're a confident bunch. They're going to raise a banner at their home opener for the Eastern Conference. What's winning a Stanley Cup done for the Golden Knights? Have you noticed a change?
Yeah, I mean the confidence is certainly there. This team had a lot of guys that knew what it took to win a Stanley Cup. They brought them in intentionally for that reason. You look at like Alex Pietrangelo, Alec Martinez. They had plenty of cup winning experience on this roster before, but now they've all done it. Everyone in that room knows exactly what it takes to win a cup. They had all been there and been very close, never gotten over that hump. So I think there's definitely a confidence, maybe a little bit of relaxation. Like, we'll see if that's good or bad going into the season. But I think this team had been so close, and they were right there on the doorstep knocking for 5 straight years, and they finally get over that hump. I think it takes a little bit of weight off your shoulders. We'll see how that plays out and what effects that has. But they definitely seem like a confident, relaxed bunch coming into camp here.
No, I get it. It's human nature, and I think they'll still be hungry, but there's no doubt winning that cup was going to change them a little bit. The audience wants to know from BW in Edmonton says, is the A's move to Vegas a done deal? How much are you following that story, Jesse?
I'll be honest, I don't do much reporting on that, so this is just from me reading other people in Vegas doing the reporting. It sounds like it's been a done deal, but I will say this. Following this situation the entire way through, the read I get is that ownership in Oakland is not the most stable group and not the most, I wouldn't take everything they say publicly exactly what they say. I'd take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's been a very back and forth, odd kind of story to follow. I'm going to be interested to see if baseball works in Vegas. Obviously, hockey has worked really well. Football's working really well. I think basketball would do really well here. How baseball will work. We have a team here that sells the stadium out pretty well. So it seems like every sport wants a piece of Las Vegas right now.
And for the longest time, they wanted no part of it. And that's a good way to end it. A good
Right.
segue into my final question. You got solid ownership in the Golden Knights and the Raiders. And when I was around Vegas, the Golden Knights were not fearful, but they knew when the Raiders came to town, things would be different. Who's the most popular team in that town right now?
Oh, the Golden Knights. It's not close. It's interesting because people in Vegas love the NFL. The NFL is huge here. You go to any bar, any casino on a Sunday, it is packed. And I think the people of Las Vegas probably like the NFL more than they like the NHL. But most of those people in Vegas had NFL teams before the Raiders moved here, and they were strong allegiances to those NFL teams. The Raiders have a lot bigger task at winning over all those people and getting them to jump on the bandwagon. And they haven't been good since they've got to Vegas. It's been a while since the Raiders have been good. So that obviously hurts them. And the Golden Knights were good right off the bat. So I think that Vegas is certainly a football town and they love football here. But I think the Golden Knights, one, because they were a brand new team that was born here in Vegas and not someone else's team that moved here. I think that helps create a very tight bond between the people of Vegas and the Golden Knights. And then obviously the inaugural season was magical. It's hard to not jump on the bandwagon when that story is happening here in Vegas. And then they win the Stanley Cup. So I think the Golden Knights have a much stronger fan base in Vegas than the Raiders do for now. But I think if some winning, they could go a long way towards helping them that because this city does love football. So I'll go Golden Knights.
After last night, I don't think the Golden Knights have anything to worry about with the Raiders showing on Sunday Night Football. Jesse, love your stuff. Thanks. Great answer, by the way. Enjoy the hockey.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Jesse Granger from the Athletic Las Vegas.